New chair? Who this? Hi! Hey! Hi. It's me, your Void. And ORILIUM is really kicking my balls right now. So we're doing a little dinner for one thing. Just like every year in April, everyone is losing their shit about the one and only readathon, the magical readathon created by G. And yes, I am one of those people who is losing their shit. Because for some reason I thought running 2 callings would be fun, and I have regretted the decision ever since. I scienced a lot ever since the announcement video came out, and I'm very grateful that this announcement video happens around the midpoint of March, so I have the time to science this shit, because quite honestly, you have to go to university at this point to understand this readathon. Yeah. And this year, having one of the classes be the start to a side quest adventure isn't helping. I am completely lost and I have to take that class. I hate it. So yeah, I have a giant stack of books. I lied. I have 2 giant stacks of books right here. And my trusty clipboard, because yes, the prompt list, what I chose to have for both of the paths, and the science behind it. I hate this readathon with a passion. So without any long introduction, let's take a look at the ginormous stack of books that I have to read for this readathon, okay? Because we will be here a while. So let's start with the first calling that I picked. Ow! So let's start with the first calling I picked all those eons ago when this readathon started in the way it is now, which is the Feywild Cartographer, and yes, as an avid D&D player, I write Feywild wrong every single time. So for the Feywild Cartographer, I have to read 7 books. First one being Elemental Studies with a light source on the cover. For that, I picked an ebook, which is Mouthful of Ashes. And as you can see, there is a light source on the cover. Right now, I'm not quite sure what it is. I think it's lights on a Ferris wheel. Correct me if I'm wrong. I will see it in editing. This one is a horror novella? Question mark? And I have no idea what it is about. I think there's vampires involved, but I'm not sure. Vampires! I picked this up for the horror version of Stuff Your Kindle Day at the end of last year. The cover looked intriguing, and I think I read the synopsis and thought it was intriguing, so I picked it up, but at this very moment in time, I have forgotten everything about it. Yay me. Next is the Shapeshifting class, with one of the worst prompts I have ever encountered, and it says that you have to read a book from an author that has blurbed your last 5-star read. Now, the last 5-star read I had was Strange the Dreamer, which was blurbed by Leigh Bardugo, but I do not have a unread Leigh Bardugo on my shelves right now, and I refuse to reread King of Scars just to figure out what the last 100 pages are, because I did not like that book and I DNF'd it 150 pages away from the end. So I went digging, and the last 5-star read that was blurbed by an author that I own an unread book from is Sins of Empire by Brian McClellan, my one and only love. But, and I had to wiggle my way through this prompt, the German version is blurbed by a single guy named Peter Brett. I have no idea who this person is, and I don't care in looking into it. So I went and looked at the English version, which on the front is blurbed by BrandoSando. I'm not going to read a fucking BrandoSando for a readathon that is already asking me to read everything. We all know BrandoSando cannot shut up. For the life of him, this man cannot shut up in his fucking books. So I'm not reading BrandoSando, but... And I had to scroll and look, and I hate this prompt so much, but I found 2 people who blurbed Brian McClellan's books, and they both write fantasy chonkers. Lucky me, I have to take this class twice. So for the Feywild Cartographer, I went with Anthony Ryan, and I picked up his book, The Pariah. I hate this specific edition of this book, Not because of anything wrong with the edition, it is specifically the edition I own. Because for some reason, don't know if you can see it, someone decided to fuck up the cutting of the pages. Do you see those peaks and valleys? There's a mountain range cut into my book. What the fuck? I hate it. But yeah, I will read the Pariah. I, again, have no idea what this book is about. But Anthony Ryan blurbed a edition of Sins of Empire, so there we go, prompt fulfilled. It's described as a ruthless and gripping new fantasy epic. Oh god, it has microscopic printing. Ha! Save me. Then we have another weird prompt for animal studies, and this prompt wants me to read something that has a yellow title. Not yellow in the title, but yellow title. That's at least how I understood it. So, like, see this? Like, Sins of Empire is orangish yellow, and, like, that has to be the color yellow. So I went with the option to read a comic that I acquired. Sea of Thieves! And it's Champion of Souls, the second volume, issue, whatever. The first issue is on this list as well. It's just, we are doing some time travel shenanigans here, so bear with me. I'm going to read the second issue of Sea of Thieves, Champion of Souls. Then we have another prompt that I hate with a passion. And this prompt wants me to read something that was recommended for my zodiac sign. Which usually is a good thing because I'm an Aries, and we all know the Aries zodiacs, we are aggressive leaders. So I'm like, okay, cool. That probably means I'm going to read an action-packed military fantasy that is so up my alley. Yes. Let me tell you, it was hard to find anything that is remotely interesting. It was so hard. But a nice person that goes by the name of Stephanie's Bookverse here on YouTube made a video 2 years ago recommending books for the Aries zodiac. And this wonderful video talked about Rage of Dragons as a recommendation for Aries. So I'm going to read Rage of Dragons by Evan Winters as my pick for astronomy. Again, I have no idea what it's about. I think there are dragons in here. And I believe the main character has anger issues? Question mark? Something like that. This has been on my radar for a while, and then I had this beast on my TBR for a while, and now it is on my active TBR. Hopefully not for a while. And I'm looking forward to reading this. I heard great things about this, and specifically about the magic system. So this is also blurred by Anthony Ryan. Send help. Next up is Alchemy. Alchemy wants me to read something with a circle on the cover. That was surprisingly easy to find. I mean, if you have trouble finding something with that, just look for the letter O. Duh. It was hard to find something for this specific prompt simply because I had too many options now. This is really the readathon that keeps on giving, right? So eventually I landed on Ashes of the Sun by Django Wexler, which is a YA question mark? Epic fantasy where we follow some twins. Where we follow twins who have been separated and now they are on opposite sides of a war of some sorts. That is all I know about it. I really like the cover, and you can see it's a giant ass circle. And if this for some reason doesn't count because it's cut at the sides, there is an O on here. That's a circle, and the circle is full on the side. I count it, whatever. Next. The second to last prompt for the Feywild Cartographer is Inscription, and that one wanted me to pick 3 titles and then choose at random, so I did it like so. I know the prompt said to have 3 different options for this randomized thing, but separating a piece of paper into 4 pieces is easier than separating it into 3, so I did 4. And, you know, digital would be too easy, so pieces of paper. Yay. I have literally no idea which one is which because I made this a while ago. Let's just put it at that. So I have 4 different options on here. That is what I remember. I just don't know what the options are. I know they are all manga/comics because I needed something short for this monstrous TBR. But that's all I know about these. So yeah, I don't even know in what order they are at this point. So mixing is actually kind of pointless. But whatever. Let's take this one. Okay, so we are going to read the Mighty Nein Origins comic about Mollymauk Tealeaf. Fuck yeah. The paper has spoken! I am going to read the Mighty Nein Origins, Mollymauk Tealeaf. Everyone's favorite blue tiefling. Blue tiefling? I got this from a friend. He probably wants it back at some point. But he specifically gave this to me for ORILIUM. I was like, ORILIUM is coming up, and that readathon wants me to read a bajillion books all at once. Do you have something short? And he was like, yeah, you like the Mighty Nein, right? And I'm like, yes. And he's like, here. And I'm like, yes, thank you. So this coming up is actually pretty cool. This is how Mollymauk Tealeaf came to be. I believe we set in after... So this is legit from the moment Molly wakes up to, I think, actually all the way to the moment until he meets the Mighty Nein. But before they called themselves the Mighty Nein. Whatever. Heh. And the last prompt for the Feywild cartographer is demonology. Demonology says, read something that you didn't pay for. Yo ho diddly dee, being a pirate is hard to be. And I got the Sea of Thieves, Champion of Souls, Volume 1. For free. As a comic. Told you I'm going to read volume 1, it's just going to pop up at a different point in time. So yeah, that is one half of this piece of paper done. Now on to the second half. The second calling I wanted to run with is the Demonologist. The origin story for the second calling is that I didn't think I could finish the first calling, so I looked for different prompts and landed on the Demonologist. But then I ended up finishing both of them in the first round we had the callings, and for some reason I refused to let any one of these drop in every other round, so I'm reading a bajillion books every month, every ORILIUM thing. And this year is just Demonology is the calling that consistently pisses me off for some reason. I don't know what it is, but it has the prompts that are always the one I hate the most. So here we are. First up is Elemental Studies, once again, and we need another light source on the cover, so I went with Blood Price by Tanya, Huff. This choice comes with a backstory. Do you see the ugliness of this cover? That is a TV cover. This is a scene. This is a still taken from the TV show that was made eons ago based on these books. And I love this fucking TV show so much. It's stupid. It is most definitely a product of its time. And yet... This TV show is called Blood Ties, and it is basically your average weekly crime drama, but all of those crimes involve some kind of supernatural being. We have werecats, we have voodoo at some point, although I think the representation of the voodoo was actually pretty shitty, but I am no expert on the matter. We have evil wizards and demons and vampires and the whole shebang, right? Everything that I love, and it is just stupid. And the sexual tension between Henry and Vicky is just... Let's just say the writers of the show knew what they were doing, and they were leaving you with blue balls every fucking episode. And I love it. So this show is a comfort show for me, and it's based on books. I never read the books, so I was like, but what if I read the books? There are 5 or 6 of them, I think, and they deviate from the show a lot, as far as I'm aware. But I don't care. I want to read it. I want to see how bad it is. Something tells me these books are bad. But I think they are bad in a way that I have fun reading them. So I decided to read one of them. Let's see where this will end. I don't know. Next up, we have the pain in the ass of shapeshifting again, and that's where I call back to the thing that 2 people prompted. Brian McClellan's Sins of Empire, the second one being Brent Weeks, and Brent Weeks wrote Black Prism, and I have that as an ebook. So I'm going to read Black Prism, which is also a 641-page behemoth of a book, and it's the start of another high fantasy series. Why am I doing this to myself? Next is Spells and Incantations. And oh my god, G, why are you doing this to me? Spells and incantations tells you to get a random number generator, put in some numbers, and the number you get from the random number generator is the number of letters in the title of the book you have to read. I'm not going to lie. This took me a couple of tries to get a number that I actually have in like title numbers. I hate this prompt so much. It took legitimately an hour to find a book for this single prompt. I hate it so much. Anyways, here's the random number that actually generated a book for me. And the book I picked for the 7 letters that I need, Mastery by Alethea Faust, which is the second book in the Sex Wizards series. In this book, we follow Domini, who goes to school for magic. Point being, magic is kink-based. So every kind of magic you can think of, it's more or less the magic schools, you know, from Dungeons & Dragons. And all of them have a kink associated with them, and Domini is learning these. Now, in book 2, he figures out that casting spells is way harder than one might think, and he's not really getting the hang of it. So he gets assistance by Arlo, the hat master of the school, and things spiral out from there. Then we have Conjuration, which is another one of these fucking random prompts. That is why I hate demonology so much. For some reason, all of the random prompts, the prompts that say random this, random that, they all land in demonology, and I hate it. So we have the random number generator, and now we have, for Conjuration, the random color wheel generator. It landed on red. So I'm reading this, Medici. Well, I don't know the English title. Is there an English title? Is this an Italian book? I don't know. Yes, it's an Italian book, originally. So, I Medici una dinastia al potere. I'm not good at Italian, but this is a 4-volume long fictionalized version of the life of the Medici. This is book 1. It is, let me translate this, like this. Medici, the power of money. Capitalism, the book. This is Florence, 1429, and we follow Giovanni de Medici's son, how he gets the family into even more power than they already have, I guess. I don't know. This is historic fiction. I don't read historic fiction, which is fascinating given that I am a history enthusiast and my mother loves her historical fiction. But yeah, gotta read something about the Medici. I'm very interested in how accurate this is because I do know a thing or two about the Medici, actually. Like, I was obsessed with them for a while after I fell in love with Leonardo da Vinci due to a show called Da Vinci's Demons and Assassin's Creed. Of course, every demonologist needs to know their demons, so we have the class of demonology again. And again, you have to read something that you didn't pay for. And again, yo ho diddly dee, I'm reading another Sea of Thieves. This time, Champion of Souls, Volume 3. What else is there to say? And then there comes this weird lore class thingy. I don't think I want to do the side quest because I didn't quite understand the side quest thing. So I'm not going to do that, probably. And I think I get my lore class as long as I read this single-page document about Dia, one of the goddesses in ORILIUM, right? Someone please correct me if I'm wrong, but I really don't want to do that side quest because I really didn't understand it. So I hope I really just need to read the singular page because I can do that. I can do that. That would be easy. So this is the end result of me sciencing my TBR as if I was going to school. This is a big stack, and a lot of the books on this stack are in ebook format, so I do think I can get through this though, because 2 of these, not those, because 2 of these I also have as audiobooks, so I can hopefully get through them rather quickly. The only thing where I get scared is the Black Prism, the 641-page behemoth that I have as an ebook, simply because I am very bad at picking up ebooks in the first place. And when they are very thick and I can't see physical progress, I tend to forget about reading the book. And I tend to get frustrated because it's taking me so long, just because I don't see where I'm at. So yeah. So yeah, this is heavy as fuck, and maybe one day I will drop one of my 2 callings, or actually switch callings, I don't know. But this spring equinox is not the equinox that I drop anything. Not even the giant stack of books, even though my arms are burning. Okay, yeah, that's it. Giant ass TBR. For no fucking reason other than apparently I hate myself. Okay. Bye. Vampire.